Full interferences of Honorable Hamad Ba, who is the Minister for Local Government and Lands, and Bakari Baji, who is the Minister of Youth and Sports, with some of their associated members, namely Jammeh Bojang and his colleagues. The act is wrong, is unfair, and I condemn it in the utmost level, because I feel law has to be respected. The rule of law need to be adhered to, because the rule of law is where the temple of justice is executed, and nobody is above the law. Each and every one need to respect the law to comport with decorum. And respecting the law is one of the greatest pillars of human rights and justice. And if we don't respect the law, then it develops into chaos and problems, which I don't like. That's why no matter how and whatever is executed or I'm executing in, I do it according to the law. And I'm very patient, despite the volume of forces that had been over a decade back, been plunged onto me, conspiracies, all kind of setups, but I'm able to redeem myself to the avenues and the trajectory of justice. And I'm still patient, no matter how long it takes. I know no matter how the dilly-dally it takes, the truth will prevail no matter what. I sent to the president, included a writ of summons that is dated on the 28th of July, 2022. This writ of summons comprised 17 members, defendants that I sue in court, namely Bakari Bojang, who, aka Babai of Lamin, Ibrahim Bojang, who is the Alcalo of Lamin, Jere Sanyang, who is a younger brother to the former chief, late Demba Sanyang, Sidi Gomez, who is one of the Council of Elders in Lamin, Cherno Njai, who is also one of the Council of Elders in Lamin, Mustafa Jammeh, who is a youth in Lamin, Kunkung Danso, who is now late, Lamin Conte, who is in abroad, Malik Si, aka Maudo, Keba Kujabi, who is the Alcalo of Makumbaya, Modu Job, who is also another trespasser, Mfali Sane, who is also another trespasser, Modu Mane, who is a native of Makumbaya, but works at the airport as a security officer, Suleiman Sise, who is the Alcalo of Kubareko, Vincent Ebul Thomas, who is another trespasser, you understand, who lives somewhere in Fajara, Muhammad Mendi, who is a so-called estate dealer called 5 Star, Buba Sise, who is a brother to Suleiman Sise of Kubareko. This writ of summons is also accompanied with the statement of claim that I made, comprised of the historic and the evidences and the documents that I attached. I can't name all those documents just to conserve time and so on, because time is running. But the recipients of this letter, who is the President of the Republic of the Gambia, and the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice, all had these copies, and my lawyers and other necessary members, including the press. So they will have content of all this. Statement of claim is within, and the list of documents that I tendered within the court, at the court, together with the list of my witnesses that I'm relying on to the at the court. Amongst also is a statement from one of the former ministers of local government and land who confirmed sincerely that I own the land, and he gave a vast knowledge about how he knew and how he can attest onto it. And another statement of a former director of the physical planning, who are the technical department responsible for land documentation or whatsoever. He has also attested that I own the land, and he knew our family. These are all elderly people. And I have other witness statements from elderly people of Lamen, who are part of the Council of Elders of Lamen, elderly people, and some of the youths of Lamen, and other members of Banjulunding, Makumbaya, and Busumbala, even the former National Assembly member. So, alongside this thing is attached with my title documents also, and the press documents that were covered in respect of this particular land, and also petition letters that I wrote to Honorable Ahmad Ba, the Minister of Local Government and Land, and copied to the Attorney General and Minister of Justice in respect to trespassers into this land, whom comprise Jammeh Bojang, whom they are associating with, who is misleading them, and his VU in the name of a so-called VDC. Jammeh Bojang has, since these few years, trespassed in various parts of my land. There's a portion of my land where he trespassed over 100 meters by 100 meters with other members. I don't want to name all those guys, but the truth will prevail after everything. And again, after trespassing in this part of land, he went and trespassed in another part of land. He sold the land to a private media house, Lamin Kante. They allocated part of the land dubiously to him without my consent. And after effect, he started developing the land. And that was the time I wrote a petition to the minister himself and copied to Attorney General, Minister of Justice, and as well physical planning as well. And that's the time they went and stopped him. The physical planning and the minister himself, this thing that took step for that country to stop all the development in this unit. I have all these records. And despite the fact that he knew about all those things, the Honorable Minister, to my dismay, he went again in turn to go and associate with that Jammeh Bojang and the Alcalo, as he said to have interacted with. You understand? And the Alcalo is one of the defendants I sue in court, which is even not even correct. The Alcalo should not even entertain that. And the minister himself shouldn't even entertain that, because whatever he does will be made null and void, because I'm not taking this very lightly. It is mine. It is mine. I have earlier wrote petition letter against these members of government trespassing into the lands. The one I wrote before that March, this thing to Ahmad Ba, I have the copy here. I wrote another one against the when one of Mahmoud Manjang, who is one of the deputy permanent secretaries, started using some of the chiefs, alcalos, you understand, to interfere into the land. And when I came across it, I wrote a petition to the president, and then copied it to the Minister of Justice and copied it to the Minister of Local Government and Lands. And I have all those petitions here that I wrote. This would be the fourth petition I'm writing to the president in concern to members of government that are interfering into our lands that are under litigation. And the reason why I'm doing that, I know the president, I'm sure he is not aware of it, and he wasn't aware of it. Even if he's going to be aware of it, it must be through a misleading manner, because he respects the law, and I respect him so much. He has never created problem to me. Problems were created to me by the former government. But for him, he has never created problem to me. And I will also, and I respect him for that matter as well. Among these documents comprise sketch plan of the area on the litigation, containing the whole dimension of the land, and also warning letters as well that we are giving to this present alcalos and this present trespassers into my land. Likewise, other warning letters that we are giving to their predecessors. I have everything here. I have exercised maximum patience with these people before I take the law. And they did it deliberately, and that's why I have taken them to the law and so on. And this matter, most likely, since I have filed this matter, they were served with all documents, all necessary processes. Each and every one of them was served. Since 2022, since I filed this in July 28, but none of them have responded to file a defense, which by way of rule of law, they are out of time since 2022. And now we are heading towards the denouement, towards the modalities of coming for judgment and the other processes that are necessary before judgment. Part of this land, the documents are here. It comprises the vast land of Babylon. Babylon was established in 1480 by one of my great ancestral parents who was a warrior called Bilondo Jeju. And this Bilondo Jeju and his family were the ones who were spiritually protecting the entire part of Kombo, from the rivers side, from Faraba to Pirang to Tunjina, Kubune, Kunkujanjata, Mandinaring, Daranka, Kerawan, Lamen, up till Banjul, going all through to the Atlantic Ocean, up till Katong. And I have the sketch plan of Babylon and the map of Babylon shown in a document that the British prepared dated on the 2nd November 1870, during the time of Mansa Sulin Jata, who was the last king of Kombo. This is the consented agreement document that was written it is dated on the 5th of January 2008, after I conceded voluntarily and I intentionally proposed to allow part of my land be used for a stadium project. This was dated in 2005. And it was communicated to the district authority. And after communicating with the district authority ordered the Alcalo of Banjulunding, who was at the time called late Sirifo Koli, to take records of everything that we consented and then present it to the district authority. And after presented to the district authority, it was the district authority also wrote a letter of appreciation. Letter of appreciation to me, dated on the 10th of February 2008, reading letter of appreciation for your generous gesture to allow part of your ancestral family traditional customary lands of Dolakunda Misranding be used for the proposed national stadium beside the area you already allocated for the market project some years back. After this effect, I should have handed over formally. This was the time of Yahya Jammeh's government. But this was the time I said, after effect, these people started conspiring to sporadically, attack my lands. I was in confrontation with them. Then I was in the music also. You understand? So my attentions were divided. You understand? That's why I even have to stop the music for a while and concentrate on the legal things. And that's the time I said, Now, since they are attacking me, I will cease for a while. And then after the litigation, I will call the state representative, call my community representative, family members, and as well my councils to be on the table, and then I formally allocate part of the land. But the allocation I made is a proposed allocation. I did not indicate how many meters by how many meters. This is the time when I'm doing the final listing, I will decide how many meters will I give within the vast part of the land. And if I do that, it has to be through a very, very fair manner. Whereas the land, there has to be arrangements as to how this land, this stadium will be managed. Because I cannot just leave it with the government alone. If I leave it with the government alone, they will not be serious into it. And nothing will be done in an end. That's why it has to be managed by both partnership. Partnership through the government, the community, family members, and whosoever we feel, even private partners, should come in a serious note. And I would like both the community of Banjulunding and community of Lamen to benefit from this. And the employment will also be part of the community members who are surrounding. I have no issue with Lamen. Lamen, Banjulunding, we are all family members. We are brothers, we are friends. And so many people of Lamen, they are in solidarity with me. In silence, in overt or covert. And likewise Yundum, likewise Busumbala, likewise Sinchu, likewise, all these things. All I need is let due process take its course and, So what hurts me more is the manner in which these honorable ministers did to trespass into land, interfere into land and allocating it. You cannot allocate what you don't own. And so many ministers have been in place. Some attempted it, but since I queried it, they stopped. And I respect them. How can Ahmad Ba come just now and then try to put his hands and tongue into a hot fire that he doesn't even know where it is? He should have concentrated in so many land disputes that are erupting, that are not into litigation yet. And try to solve those things. You cannot solve those things. You are jumping into a litigation. Lands or matters that are into litigation that have been adjudicated by experts. Ahmad Ba is not a lawyer. How can Ahmad Ba come just now and then try to put his hands and tongue into a hot fire that he doesn't even know where it is? He should have concentrated in so many land disputes that are erupting, that are not into litigation yet. And try to solve those things. You cannot solve those things. You are jumping into a litigation. Lands or matters that are into litigation that have been adjudicated by experts. Ahmad Ba is not a lawyer. He has never been one. Why should he interfere into this thing? When there is more problems into the ministry and lands affairs where his ministry is been responsible, communities and so on. He should with this thing. Likewise, Bakari Baji, who is my younger brother as well. Me, I'm not here for nepotism or so. I speak this thing. You understand? He has issues within developing these things, how to call stadiums that they propose to allocate within the communities nationwide. You cannot solve these things and you want to jump into a land that is into litigation. Look at the stadium. How many millions of dollars have been spent unnecessarily? You cannot coordinate those things. And you want to jump into another, that is not your jurisdiction. He is not a lawyer. Why is he going into it? And he is aware of it. I told him earlier. And I've communicated with his younger brother, Kausu. I told him. Even before writing it, I called Kausu, I told him. And Kausu said he will call him. I called him, he never took the line. This means he is doing this thing. Me, I don't care. Even this thing whatsoever. I'm not perfect. But I speak the truth. And I feel that is how it should be. I have the records here. And the airport, the sketch plan of the airport where we allocated, all those leases are even expired. But I'm not claiming the airport or whatsoever. But the adjacent areas, airport cannot transfer again to extend another part. That's what Mamudu Manjang the then deputy permanent secretary was trying to do, wanted to use the airport directors or whosoever the chiefs, and so the chiefs tell me, I will not name their name. They tell me we are not subscribing because it's not correct. We cannot push us into what is in the, especially what is not what is in the. And that's why I petitioned the president about it, and then he sees henceforth. And I know so many things about Mamudu Banjan that I don't want to, expose here. He knew me very well, and he heard it loud and clear. And before I wrote to the president, I initially warned him. When I heard that he's trying to sneak into these things, I told him, be careful. He said, no, yalong, be consulted, and he went ahead. And the letters he wrote to the chief, I have them here. The letter I wrote to Mamudu Manjang is a complaint about this thing. He wrote all these invitation letters where Mamudu Manjang wrote it. He trying to persuade these guys. And in the letter, in the letter he wrote even, which is here, he even lamented that, confessed that they had tried it last year, but they failed. You understand? So now he want to distinguish it again. That's the letters here. I have all the correspondent documents that he made, which is not correct. I feel it is uncalled for. Let's maintain peace and decorum. I have no problem allocating the land. It's no problem. I've allocated various parts of my land to the government, to the state, to individuals. All the schools in Banjul is within my land. All the schools from where the university, Islamic University is my land. Where the primary school is, this thing is mine. I have all the records here. They are here. The documents are here. They're showing the allocation. And the confession of all those things were made in video. My dad made all his statement in video because he knew that time, Yahya Jammeh was trying to, the government was trying to, arrest us, doing all kind of things to intimidate us with this thing. We've passed through so many things. Me, nothing can intimidate. Billahi, wallahi, tallahi. I'm a jeweler. I don't fear. That's why I don't trouble. I don't need nothing from government. I don't need nothing from nobody. And nobody can colonize my mind. Nobody can threaten me. And wherever they challenge me, I'll distinguish it. I am a peaceful person. I have no problem allocating the land. Even these lands that are distinct, I'm going to distribute it to poor people. I've allocated various land to more than 100 people. Ask them. 3 poor people in Banjulunding. I built houses and I let them stay there. And I told them, pray for my ancestors. Who made me have this? It's not me. It's my ancestors. And my father, all the time, he told me, don't fear nothing. This is my sweat. This is my ancestral sweat. I may not witness it, just like it happened. He said, but pursue this in any angle and aspect without no fear. And enjoy it with poor people. Help in as much as you can. Me, I don't smoke. I don't drink attire. I'm not moved by material this thing. This thing is, what I have, I share with people. And everyone in Banjulunding, not even Banjulunding, everyone could attest to that. My property is everybody's property. I share with people. I don't care. I don't need even one thanking me or whatsoever, because I feel what I have is been given to me by God. So it is given to me for me to share to people who need it. And the more I share is the more I replenish. And I feel very happy about it. I feel very comfortable in sharing. And even this land, after the meeting, I'll share it with people. I'll give some to the state. I'll give some to the communities. Even Lamen people, I'll give them. All these things, Makumbaya, Kubariko, and so on. I'll sit and distinct with them at a reasonable listing and allow other people share with the family and whatsoever. Because these are things that will live here. I'm not going to take it along. All I'm concerned is to see justice and to see things go in by the right way. I have no problem with that. And even the stadium, like I said, I will, after effect, call the state, call the media, you yourself, to come over. We see, and the government and so on, we see how best we can work it out in the interest of everybody. Like I say again, I'll say again, I'll not give it to the government to entire control, because the government, most of the people are not serious. You give it to them, they say, I don't care. But if you give it to people who are responsible and so on, they work together, then they will regulate this thing down. And then for the interest of everybody. And I will advise the Minister of Local Government, Hamadou Keba, and the Bakari Y. Baji to stop interfering into this land. And Jambe Bojang and all those guys, until when this matter is put to rest. This is not a government land, it's our land. We have been in control of this land since time immemorial, since ancestral time. We occupy it, we control it, and still we control it, and we have documents over it. Sometimes some of the people say state land, I don't care about state land. Say, state land doesn't imply to with this land. State land implies to lands that were random, this thing without document, without ownership. Those are state lands. You can consider all those, but lands that have been governed by this thing, these are customary lands. And it's my customary duty under this thing. I know the land tenure system. Nobody can dribble with me. This is map I was telling you of 1870. You can see here on the 2nd November 1870. Here is Babylon. This O, they spell combo, C-O-M-B-O. Babylon is here where this O is. And you see, this is the riverside. These are also, you see these dots? These are all security positions of Babylon. Like I tell you, these security positions were made on the riverside and the Atlantic Ocean. But this is a cross-section of this. So this is the Atlantic Ocean area. This is the riverside from around Kubune areas and so on. That's Babylon here. You can see this is part of Banjulunding. It was all security zones. You see, this is Banjul. This is the portion of Banjul. This is KM. This is Katong area. I'll show you. You see this? This is my dad in 1945. Then he was 45 years within Little Batos. This is my granddad. This is a spiritual warrior. This guy is what they call Babanding Jaju. This guy for bullet? No bow and arrow, no this thing. He was the one protecting it. And he was the one cordially working with the British authorities at the time. Most of these chiefs, if he points this chief, they will give it to him because he was the one who salvaged most of the British when they were captured during the this thing, how to call it. Then he was a teenage. He was the one controlling this thing of Missy Landing. There was this thing on Missy Landing. He was the one controlling that fort within part of Babylon, near to Kubareko and so on. He's called Babanding Jaju. He is the one that salvaged most of these things that the British that were captured and the Marabouts that were captured. And that's the time he allowed them to create a Missy Road there. That's why they call that place Missy Landing. And it's in the one of the colonial map. You'll see it. This guy. He was the last to be in charge of Babylon. He was the one protecting Governor Llewellyn and others. He's a brave guy. He died 1981. I was the one that used to sleep with him. That's why he gave me most of the documents. This is the other one they call Suleiman Amantajin Jeju, RF. After he became an artist, because we are artistic, this thing and so on. This guy is called Per Njai. This guy is called Dixon Kuli. He was the first colonial journal. I think you must have about him in history. Yeah, Dixon Kuli. Mungini, you have Mbai Baso here, and the chief at the time, who was the paramount chief during the colonial time. This was the first voter's card in 1960. First ever during the colonial time. When the British allow Gambians to participate into politics and this thing, how to call, after they allowed them to in 1959. This was the first voter's card. This was Per Njai's this thing in 1951. The report by the colonial authorities from 1901 to 1906. And come for Fenkola, Manika Kaola, Nimu press conference will take a minke. Mayatinanga Ninke, Wolom Minister coming for Amadba, I tell it Tautalefang. It's not nice. I Tautale. Alonko Kinakeno member Kitty Okono, a Tauta Kataka Jeta ka Fokatebe J. la Stadium attending Bakar Baji, Ufana Fambula Ahmad Babulu. You understand? Kataka JD Fenkola, put Kafokate JD Stereo, I caradu di Lamenkola. Jambe Bojani Fenge, Jambe Bojameno Mukrungolo, Jambe Bojambe, dubious things, Roneke Kanjana. How many times Mba Blasla in the media? And will radio Lia Mumefo. Aka Fambula Wolbulu. Pudi Kataka Mola Kenul Taika Fenge. Debukasila. I don't Debukasila, Kamalu Mula and Kamu Bunya, Mukasila. And I'll say the truth. So when I'll tell you the reality. I don't care. Fengo membe kiti yokono. President wa melon kom president wote fang. Nga respect bakile and I molong kaida molong I lua bunya. Anine buka da ku nyim fenko nyinkono. Kom membe ku lua kono akabula jile. Parce que ça wo sedi yan so bambandino. Nde manke politique yon buka diam political and so on. I'm not interested in politics and mansula president wala mansula mansakunda mansula mola makoyrola ala makoyrolo rek won kanyantante tole dal. andu ngajele president atata kiti do lemenon kanin fo yakumba jete to lombang na nominated member bira tata kiti e to nyali yakumbala asonta anin wo KMC fenko fana mansa kunani mo fana tata ye kiti di fenko la fo malon ka fanya fo senabu matin lombang wo mume so ngalon ka buka bloquer fenko nyito nata wolong nata comme former government le bajele be bloquer la fenko nyito dal bot ngatentu wo karolal dal yes mol ka fa amang karang wala amang do ko na amang fenko no ay menno ngabina bole katakan honest to God because nobody is perfect jang ye preps ya di momo menna ibe fo yellolom ibe yello sot lale ni mol me support ita keno la correctly andum he is not perfect I can attest that very well dey I'm not man fen ni da bulu dal even president fo biri na lanta ya dia do mala adoma fo bulli fenke nyol lombang wol mu nga president petition le ñi manke petition foloti birim former vice president fana il lafta use la pour la nota kataka je document moli nga president petition le bulale Mamadou Manjam biring lafta pour kanyi seful use nim fenkol nga president petition bulale Amad Ba le nyata sa telo sembu data bida abe molla kenu tala ba fenkela who is Amad Ba moli respect le president ke minister ya position lon rek molle benu nje before it ate so aman right so pour kataka fenko nyim fenke andum fana memba ko ko ma nga belonne wokeno ni fe ngo fe menkeje be fola lale billahi wallahi tallahi ndela duño ñaan mangani ya jawsoto nim parta mam mayin ndanga keno di moja mala la banjinu ndim nyin karola gadi no membe jebe famanyol ladi and wo ganol bebe abentel la onda wokeno mu mebentel la onda fama ya be transfer la abi I have all documents to that you understand but I menke among correct ninte parta nte be sila nte ni sate molbe anim fenkole si satele si anim mansaye si anim jones anim na loyal mume nga simba kul kachala nyamen yemenon kabe kala mobe na fatin banjulu ni na fasoro la me na fasoro ni sate burgula membe je na fasoro mansaye na fasoro all fenkole na fasoro dal anu nakeno nyin nga document so nyin woli so bebe farin